I've been teaching Korean for 10 years, and in the last 2 years, I have built the biggest community on school for Korean learners. And in this video, I'll share with you my full 3-step process that I actively use for my students to actually remember vocabulary without spending hours in books, but also being able to use them in real day-to-day conversations that they face. Step 1. Stop learning all Korean vocabulary. And the reason I have it at the beginning is it is the first and most important one. Why? Because when you get this right, you can save not only hours from your vocab learning, but years in your overall Korean studies. Think about it like this. Imagine you want to cook dinner for your family, and you decide to learn cooking by first memorizing every item in the supermarket. 30,000 items there. It'll take you years and you still wouldn't have cooked one dinner. Now, let's look at what a usual class or usual textbook tells you to learn for vocabulary. I even brought my old university book that I used to teach with as a Korean teacher in universities. Let's just open a random page and let's see what's in there. So it says 통장, 계좌번호, 카드, 카드번호, 유효기간, 비밀번호. Here's the thing. A textbook is written for everyone. An exchange student from France, a doctor in Berlin, a grandmother in Texas, all on the same page. So it picks the words that just fit everyone. And the words that fit everyone fit nobody's actual life. Now, look at your own kitchen. The food you cook every week uses maybe 40 ingredients. The same 40 every week. And you know every one of them without studying. Why? Because you use them. Now, think about your week. Not your whole life, one normal week where you experience Korean. Maybe in Korea or at the Korean restaurant of your neighborhood or with your Korean friends. What did you actually talk about? Your work, family, weekend, food, where you live, how you get around. Conversations tend to start like, 무슨 일 하세요? What work do you do? 가족이 어떻게 되세요? What is your family like? 주말에 뭐 했어요? What did you do on the weekend? 뭐 먹었어요? What did you eat? 어디 살아요? Where do you live? Many students think being good at Korean means knowing a lot of words a little bit. The best speakers I know do the opposite. They know a few things very well and they say those confidently and they build from there. And here's why that's the case. When you know a lot of words a little bit, you have nothing you can say with confidence. So you say nothing and stay quiet. You let your friend or partner translate, and slowly you start avoiding Korean conversations completely. But when you know 10 sentences well and you say them, the Korean person starts answering. They ask you something back. And yes, maybe you freeze on the next question. But now you're inside a real conversation. And that phrase tells you exactly which sentence to build next. That is where learning actually happens. Step 2. Memory is a marathon, not a sprint. So now we have the students' 100 words. The next question is, how do we make them stick? For this, I use a method called spaced repetition. Big name, simple idea. Let me explain it. Think about the last time you got a new bank card PIN. What did you do? Maybe you repeated the number again and again. Maybe you remember the pattern your finger makes on the keypad. Or maybe you just picked 0000. And if that's you, this example is not for you. Here's what really happened. You didn't learn the PIN by repeating it 10 times in 1 minute. You learned it by using it again and again, with time in between. The first few days, you had to think hard. Sometimes you almost forgot it, and then it came back. And that exact moment, forgetting and then remembering again, that is when your brain builds the memory. After a week or two, you type it without thinking. The PIN is now in your long-term memory. That is spaced repetition. You let a little time pass, you almost forgot the word, and you pull it back. Every time you pull it back, the memory gets stronger. So with your 100 words, we do exactly the same thing. I've seen this with hundreds of students and it works the same way every time. Somewhere around 30 to 50 repetitions, a word starts coming out by itself. And I mean repetitions out loud, not in your head. 50 repetitions on Sunday feels very productive, and by Friday, the word is gone. 10 repetitions a day for 5 days is the same 50, the same effort, and it stays. It is the same reason you know your 40 ingredients. You never sit down to study them. You just use them on Monday and on Thursday and again the next week. So how do you actually do this? The easiest way is flashcards. Put your 100 words into Anki or Quizlet and come back to them once a day for 10 minutes. You don't have time? Do it on the toilet. I'm serious. 10 minutes a day, that is all. And I guarantee you, after 1 month, those words will not just be in your memory. They will be in your active memory. You will not search for them. They will just come out like a reflex. Step 3. Never learn a word in isolation. Here's something almost nobody tells you about vocabulary. And honestly, this is the step that separates students who remember words from students who can use them in a conversation. Those are two completely different skills, by the way. Think about how you learned 회사, company. You saw 회사 on one side of the flashcards and company on the other side. And you repeated it, 회사, 회사, 회사. Great. Then you're at a dinner and somebody asks you, 무슨 일 하세요? And the word is right there. You have it, 회사. But now you have to build everything around the word. What comes first? Which particle? 에서? Which ending? And the person is looking at you, waiting. That is exactly the moment you freeze. Not because you forgot the word. You knew the word. You just never learned the sentence the word lives in. So with my students, we do something different, and it's super simple. Every one of your 100 words goes into one sentence, a true sentence about your real life, not a textbook sentence. 회사 becomes 저는 버스로 회사에 가요. I go to the office by bus, if you really go by bus. If you go by car, then the sentence is by car. It has to be true, because a true sentence is a sentence you will say again next week. Let me show you how this looks with a real student, because showing is easier than explaining. This is from an actual deck of one of my students. First card, 체크인, check-in. Just a word. This is where everybody starts, and this is where everybody stops. Now, look at this one, sleepers. But the back of the card is not sleeper. It is 슬리퍼 좀 주세요. Please get me some sleepers. The whole sentence she will actually say at the guest house. That is the word living inside a sentence. A word alone is just a word. A word inside a true sentence is the word plus the grammar plus the sentence you can say next time plus pieces. Pieces you will use in the sentences you haven't even thought of yet. It is exactly like the kitchen. You never learned onion as a word. You learned it inside a dish. And once you can cook 3 dishes, you start making up a 4th one from the same ingredients. But one warning, because this is where people mess it up. Repetition does not check if your sentence is correct. Repetition makes whatever you fit it automatic. So if your sentence has a mistake, you make the mistake automatically. So the sentence has to be corrected once by somebody who actually speaks Korean before you repeat it 50 times. And you cannot correct yourself. If you could hear the mistake, you'd already be saying it right. Now, here's the part my students get most excited about. After a few weeks of this, something happens that I honestly cannot fully explain. The sentences start breaking into pieces by themselves. Let's say you learned 얼마나 걸려요 for your commute, like how long does it take? And you learned 공항까지 가주세요 for your trip, meaning please take me to the airport. 2 sentences, both automatic. And then one day you're in a taxi, you're late, and you want to ask how long to the airport. A sentence you never learned, right? And 공항까지 in 얼마나 걸려요? Just come together. 공항까지 얼마나 걸려요? You didn't think about one single grammar rule. The pieces were already there from sentence you built weeks ago. And one thing I strongly recommend, put audio on every sentence card, recorded by any Korean speaker you trust. Because a sentence you only read, you will say wrong, and then you repeat it wrong 50 times. So you tap the card, you hear the sentence, you say it after every single time. And now, the card I really care about. On the front, 3 pieces. 저기요, 말씀 물어보다. Excuse me, words to ask. And she has to build the sentences from those pieces. 저기요, 말씀 좀 물어볼게요. She's not remembering a sentence here. She's putting pieces together. And that's exactly what she will do at the dinner table when somebody asks her something she didn't prepare. Same 10 minutes from step 2. Same toilet. But now, every repetition gives you 3 things for the price of 1. 1. The word. 2. The grammar comes attached for free. You never think about A again. It is just inside a sentence. 3. The sentence is already built. So when somebody asks you something, you don't spend 10 seconds building. It just comes out. So in summary, step 1 is basically stop learning all of Korean. Instead, you select the 100 words that are actually connected to your life. Work, family, weekend. That is a great place to start, right? Because you know your life better than any book does. And here is a quick way to do it. Describe your life to AI and pick your 100 words from that. Step 2 is where you make them stick. And honestly, this is the easiest part because the app does most of the work. You put those 100 words into Anki or Quizlet, you give it 10 minutes a day out loud, not in your head. And you let the app decide which words to show you because the app knows which ones you're about to forget better than you do. And step 3 is the one that turns all of this into actual speaking. You don't put the word on the card. You put a true sentence from your life on the card with audio, so you hear how it really sounds. And before you repeat it, you get it corrected once by somebody who speaks Korean. Because whatever you repeat becomes automatic, so it better be right. And then, and this is the part people skip, you go and actually say those sentences to a Korean person. When they ask you the next question and you freeze, you don't need to feel bad. That phrase just told you exactly which sentence you need to build next. And if you want to speak more of your real-life Korean and get personalized feedback, come inside the Mac community. It is free. This week's prompt is about your summer, so your 100 words already fit. Record your sentences, you post them, and I listen to every single one. If it's right, I'll tell you it is right. And now you can repeat it 50 times knowing it is real Korean. I'll see you inside.